Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report, a duo episode tonight. We are a recovery-based podcast, but don't worry. If you're not sober or you're not ready to be sober, we talk about plenty of other things, including sports, trending topics, a good bit of nonsense, and all kinds of other things. My name is Shawn and I am your host. I'm joined just by my good friend, Mr. Bill DeLuca tonight. Possibility we may have Corey and or Greg try to call in, but I wouldn't count it. I think it's just going to be a tag team tonight. You can check out new episodes of Trudge Report every Tuesday. Listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Later every week, you can watch us on YouTube and Facebook, but please be sure to download on all your listening platforms. Remember to like and subscribe and share on all social media outlets with the handle at Trudge Report Pod. Again, that is at Trudge Report Pod. We're brought to you, as always, by Stella Mix Podcast Management and the wonderful producer and editor, Miss Janine Stella. Bill, good evening. Just the two of us tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Oddly quiet in here. Oddly quiet. Of course, I miss my two buddies this week, but Shawn and I are going to do our best. My best buddy here that I get to host the show with, so I'm excited about that. Been an oddly long day today, particularly because I was at a job site where some things happened and we had to do some damage control, and power went out at a aerospace center where there's all sorts of machinery going on that we're trying to preserve. And, my buddy Ray and Johnny were sitting there, and this guy comes up and he starts talking to us. And I'm like, I look over, I say, play it nice, try to make this guy feel good. So he helps us out, Next thing I know, he's telling us about, he has 520 feet Burmese python in his living room.
Wow.
He once bored across a 5-mile swamp in Kissimmee on a kayak. This is a high-level employee as well. And then he's telling me about how he made certain drilling pieces out of uranium. It was a wild trip. So after my headache got bad enough, I just had to peace out of there. So I'm glad to be here with you, man. And yeah, it's been a long week, but we're here, ready to roll. And I'm glad I'm away from that conversation because, man, oh man, took me to the stars and back.
5 Burmese pythons. Sounds like he might be like
I'm nerfing it. There's a lot more to this story, but yeah, we should get him on here.
I was just gonna say he might be a good guess. He kind of sounds like Tiger King's brother or something like that. Or
Gator wrestler,
adjacent. Yeah,
Gator wrestler. He said he founded Gator Boys, and he looks literally like the wrestler Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, identically like Bam Bam.
No idea who that is.
Oh man,
no idea. Never heard of him.
Oh man, you got to look it up. It's basically a real husky gentleman with like a fireball tattoo on his head, all the way over his body. He's got tattoos. Imagine that, but just literally nonstop fabrications of stories. It was wild. Maybe he was arrested for netting snook, and he had a $500,000 bond from the FWC. At 14,
a big crime, like the snook thing. I never realized. Like, I knew there's snook season, and I knew it's illegal not to do it in season, but I didn't realize like just how big of a crime some of that stuff is, like fish and wildlife stuff.
Yeah, well, the guy who was reliable that was with me was explaining that it is literally like if you get caught with a crab that's out of season or whatever. I mean, each one is a felony. So it is a big deal.
Our buddy Austin, our mutual friend Austin, he was I play golf with him a lot, and he was like, "Oh, I can't play golf this Friday." This was like last week, the week before, because I guess it was like Red Snapper Day, like it's just one day a year, and he was like ecstatic about this. He was like, "I almost forgot. I can't believe it. I would have missed it." And I'm like, "Really?" Like, and he's like, "One day," and he said the same thing, that it's a pretty expensive crime. You can get in some big trouble if you do it, besides that one day or whatever it is. So.
What are you in here for?
Like wrestling?
I caught a dungeon crab in Fort Pierce on the pier.
I boiled that sumbitch. Yeah. That's a fishing, and like I know less about fishing than I do about wrestling. And I don't know much about wrestling. I know a little. Let me say this. I know a tiny bit, like WWE. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I know a tiny bit about fishing, only because I have been deep sea fishing many, many years ago. I did it quite a few times with my technically my cousin, my mom's cousin, kind of like my uncle, but yeah, I have like no knowledge of that stuff at all.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, as you know, and I took an oath never to leave a boat within 100 yards of shore or whatever. But I actually did recently go deep sea fishing. I don't know if I got lucky, but we caught 4 sailfish. We caught
Did you
some
go
mahi.
with Dave and Stacy?
No, John Jr., Johnny's son.
Oh, okay, Johnny's
We
son.
had a
Yeah,
ball in our 2 kids, and so we're
nice.
reeling in
That's right.
sailfish
Yeah, I think you told me about that.
yeah, and you know what? I was like, I get it. I get the whole fishing thing now. Oh, caught a mahi and a tuna, and you're wrestling them around. It's fun. I also took the Dramamine stuff. I didn't get
Yeah,
sick.
I'm
'cause,
sure it is fun. I'm sure you get, especially if you get out there with like good people and people you like, and the weather's nice and all that stuff. The energy's good and stuff. What I don't get is in our little undisclosed location that we've definitely given away a few too many times on this show. Our the bridge that we have here, that big bridge
yeah,
connects two of our cities. Those people that just like sit on the bridge for hours, stand really for hours and hours and hours, and cast their line, and just man, that seems terrible. That seems like a terrible time.
because they catch great fish off
I'm
those.
sure they do, but
They,
it's just like, dude,
but I know, man. I can't do
crazy.
that. I can't be
And
that guy.
is there a reason why those areas are such a
Yeah,
hot
because
spot?
well, look, I'm kind of a novice, but from what I hear, the fish like to congregate around structures.
Got it. That's what
For
that's
whatever
what,
reason
okay.
of protection, probably, and
Yeah,
maybe some residual food factor there too, because you got a lot of inlets combining
right.
and things like
Just
that.
seems like a proficient state for them to be kind of under those structures. And
Allegedly, you can catch pretty much anything at those ones, like grouper. I mean, deep sea stuff, like from time to time. So I guess I get why they do it. I don't know. I don't know if I have the patience for the full on like I'm fishing, you know what I mean, thing.
yeah,
But I get it.
a lot of our friends do, dude. They're like always like, oh, I got up at 5 a.m. to do this and do that, and we were out till 3 in the morning. I mean, Dustin's like that. Our buddy Dustin,
Yep.
bunch of guys from my home group. Shout out to Robert and Brian. They're all the same way. They
Joey
love
T.
that stuff. Joey T. I
He's a
swear,
river monster.
I thought I saw him the other day walking up to one of our recovery meetings, and I saw him coming from afar, and I swear I thought it was him. It turned out not
Shawn,
to be, but yeah,
I'm back.
I think I'm ready this time. Um,
Yeah.
have you talked to
Shout
him
out to
recently?
him. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah,
him. He's got a good heart.
he does, dude. That's probably the most painful thing about a person like that is
Yeah.
underneath all the BS is like a really, really good dude,
His dad's a good guy. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
shout out to him.
Yeah,
And he's passionate
tough
fisher,
scene.
man. Like if I call like about fishing, he'll answer any question I
Oh
got.
yeah.
I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
about the electrical stuff so much, but the
No.
fishing stuff, my man's got it down.
We got a
So
couple friends that are electricians that I wouldn't
yeah.
trust anywhere in my house.
I got a freaking socket sticking out right now that people are still mad about here. So
Well, listen, shout out to my brother-in-law Kyle Humphreys. He's an electrician, the electrical union, and
that's who I gotta call.
he's doing good. He's
Love
like,
that
I think
guy.
he's about halfway through with the 4-year program, doing really good. So they just had a
New dad,
baby.
he deserves the
Yeah,
world.
I probably never shouted him out, but yeah, shout out to Kyle and Katie, baby Hattie, new
Absolutely.
baby, about 2 months old, a little more than two
Nothing
months
but
old.
love.
Doing great. They're doing great. So
We've never shouted
says
out Tom and Dana either while we're at it.
that's true. Good point. Yeah, they're like
Shout out to them too.
the matchmaker.
Yeah.
He said he's ready. Kyle said he's ready for fantasy football this year. So
Oh, I know he is. He hasn't said a
said you
word in
guys are going
in
down.
the
Yeah,
thread.
yeah.
Just so the people know, like we have a fantasy football thread in. Every morning you'll wake up, there's 73 messages, 62 are from Mark. And
The other half are from Constantine.
we would be banned from anywhere, I think, if those were ever under review.
Yes.
But it's a good time. It's our 7th year. We have a major trophy we pass around. You get a ring if you win. And a lot of prestige with that. Shout out to the Frothy Cup. The
Yes.
Golden Duke, Frothy Emotional Appeal.
I've seen some of their videos. They take it very seriously.
Yeah,
I
we
am
do
not
a promo
I'm not
video.
in it. I'm just a consultant. I don't partake, but
We're trying to integrate a thing this year, Shawn, that if you get in last place, you have to go stay in either an IHOP or a Waffle House for 24 hours.
yo,
But
where
you
did you
can-
hear that from? Because my golf guys do the same thing. The golf podcast I
Yeah.
listen to do the same thing.
Yeah, so
And you have
every
to, what is it,
you
one
can
waffle an hour,
delete
or
an hour.
right, or something like that. Yeah.
So like
Where'd you
Constantine
hear
would
that
be out
from?
of there and like by like
Oh, he'd
9
be there for
o'clock
like 2.5 hours. Yeah.
a.m. I heard about that on a different fantasy football podcast
Yeah. I mean, that makes
where they
sense. But
brought
yeah, I
on
heard.
all these
Yeah.
people who's like, what do you do if you lose? I don't really like the public thing, like walking around with a pink shirt and all this stuff. Like, go sit at a
Or like,
Waffle House and be a
yeah.
weirdo.
Yeah. My golf podcast I listen to, those guys, they have kind of year-round bets on all kinds of things, and that's typically one of the losing place. That's what you got to do is go sit in a Waffle House, and one of the guys is actually getting ready to do it from last year's bet, like pretty soon.
That's great
Um,
content.
it is, dude. It
They need to
is great
record that.
content. Yeah. Oh, they will. They will. Their content. Shout out the No Laying Up podcast, but
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we didn't really have I guess I should go. Nothing's really going on my end. I mean, my wife's in Pennsylvania for a few days, so just me and the girls just flying solo, me and the kids flying solo for a few days, which I've done before. She's done before. It's really it's all good. It's kind of nice in a way because I get to do everything exactly the way I want to. Like everything's on my schedule and the way I like to organize it. And my wife and
Yeah.
I are pretty much on the same page with all that stuff, but we both naturally do some things a little differently. So like everything was like it's very, very regimented in a good way, I think, for my kids. We're teaching little Grace how to tie her shoes right now.
Cute.
She's doing all right. She's doing all right. She's the loop and pull part is obviously the hardest part, but she's getting there, and she's committed. Right before this, we were doing it. We did it for like 10 minutes, and she said she wanted to stay by herself and keep practicing. So I said, good
Oh,
for you. Good for you. But
she got the rabbit around the tree.
yeah, all good on my end, man. Everything's pretty copacetic. I actually have tomorrow off because I just had a bunch of vacation time that if I don't use it by September, I lose it. So I just kind of pluck little random days here and there to take off. So that'll be nice. Um, all good, man. So we didn't really have a topic. Well, we kind of had
Real
some things
quick,
we want to talk
shout out to
about. Yeah, yeah.
Camden. We celebrated his 12th birthday. We went to Volcano Bay. I rode a water slide 120 feet tall.
Wow.
I remind the people I would not ride the Sailfish Splash water slide. I realized after about 5 years of recovery, I was chasing my kid up the Sailfish Splash. It's like a story and a half tall. I was chasing him up the water slide to go down it. It was the first time I've ever done that, and I realized I was deathly afraid of heights all of a sudden. So
what a time to find it out.
yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah. I calmly backed down and I went down the thing and I wouldn't go back up there. And then so this year I rode the slide at Sailfish Splash. It's like 20 feet high. And now I just graduated the 120-foot trapdoor removing speed
Like you just
slide.
fall out of.
Dude, I'm saying like, so everybody was like, I don't want to go first. And there's all these little kids up there. I'm like, I got this. So I'm like, you get in, you stand there, and there's a trap door under you, and it's like a tube, it's like a spaceship. And I'm standing there, and I'm swear to God, I'm 1 second away from telling you I can't do this. I'm like, be tough, be tough. My heart's beating out of my chest, and that trap door hit, man. You're boom. It was really nuts.
Wow.
But when you get to the bottom, you're like, that was fun.
That
you
was
know what I
fun,
mean?
yeah.
Like that was
No,
fun.
I like that kind of stuff. You know what's sad, dude, is I'm not old. I'm in the prime of my life, but I'm getting old in some areas. I get so nauseous now on like I used to love roller coasters, anything that we go to our local county fair, and some of those rides even like I get so upset because I just get so nauseous. I love them. I love the idea of them. For whatever reason though, my body just
Well,
can't take
two
it
things,
anymore, man.
Sean.
It's getting
One,
sad.
I was in bed all day the next day after riding that thing, and it was from the slide. Two, the county fair rides are the I will not ride those. The
Yeah, well,
carousel, I'm swear to God, I saw
yeah,
Final
yeah.
Destination too many
The
times.
Ferris wheel, yeah, exactly.
I will not ride Ferris wheel, dude. Well,
Yeah.
I'll ride a roller coaster because you're like strapped in, but I will
Yeah.
not ride a Ferris wheel. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Stupid fear.
yeah, that's not stupid. I think a lot of people have it. I love that stuff. It's just sad, man. I'm into that next chapter of my life. That
Didn't you
second
skydive
third of my
though?
life. And to be honest with you, the skydiving part was fine. I'll tell you what got me going up in the airplane. It wasn't too bad because I was like, it was a big enough plane and you can't really see out, but I get a little nauseous even like going up into all that stuff. But the skydiving part, I don't think your body has enough time or recognition to be like, oh, you should be
Oh,
nauseous. Like it's the whole nother ball game. And yes, I skydived one time. That was plenty enough for me. It was absolutely exhilarating. I encourage anyone to try it who hasn't tried it. I don't need to do it again.
how happy were you when your feet hit the ground? Were you just like, thank God?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's
Thank
a
you, God.
and everything, the straps and everything, and there's so much weight. Like when you pull the chute, it gets you pretty good in the inner thigh crotch area. So it's kind of like almost like a relief once you hit the ground and you get to release all the straps and stuff like that. But um, listen, I'd be lying if it doesn't go through your mind. Like, what if I don't make it out of this? Or like your friends that are coming down after you, or like
Yeah.
in my case, I think my wife, I think she jumped right before me, so I didn't have her. But it's like, oh my god, like I could be an only dad. Like it's kind of. I know
Yeah.
it's a little depressing, but it's natural.
Your
Everybody thinks
mind goes
about
to
it.
the worst,
Oh,
like for a split
100%,
second. I don't
100%,
care who you are.
100%. There is a real freedom though of like no lie, and it's not to sound corny, but one of the freest moments I've had, especially since I've been sober, is once you're out of the plane, that like there's nothing you can do, right? So
That's
if
true.
shit's gonna happen, so there's like an immense like, well, like just enjoy it, and then you're thinking like, well, these people do this literally. The guy that I jumped with was from Australia. He had like 25,000 jumps under his belt, like
Yeah, I don't like that
you
guy
know.
because he's probably too comfy.
Nah, he
Like
was
I
good.
need
I
the
don't know.
guy that's on his first jump, like triple checked his shit.
I'm trying to think of who in our crew they had a new guy and they let it slip before we go that he only had like
His first jump.
750 jumps or something like that, which is
We're loading this
literally
backpack together.
nothing. Yeah, yeah. I think like at 700 you can get certified or something, but
My fear
no,
is
it
getting
was
up
good.
there and being like the guy that's like holding on to the wall and being like, "Don't touch me."
They'll tell you that like, hey, we're just gonna push, like we're just gonna like.
Oh, you got
I
no
told the guy
option.
too, not really no option. I mean, I guess you could, but I told the guys like, listen, when we get to the door, because he's strapped behind you and you're kind of like in a
Mhm.
ball with your feet and everything up, and you fall forward out of the plane. I said, just you can count, you can fake count me, or just push, like just go,
Just go,
you
bro.
know, just go. And it was good. But as you know, I shouted this out on the pod some weeks back. My mom and my wife went again, and I took them. I didn't go, but I took them and watched them, and it was my mom's first time, and um, it was a little different. It was a smaller operation, and the plane was like tiny, dude. Like tiny.
Mm,
That might have been the scariest part. And I didn't even go up in the plane this time, but it was
yeah.
legitimately the pilot. And then all you can fit is one other, like the jumper and the professional. That's it.
Where you're
That's
like,
it.
"Oh, dude, I chose the budget place. I'm
Yeah,
screwed."
seriously. I didn't realize it, but they were actually really good though. So it's fun. It's a good time. I don't have to do it
Yeah.
again though. I don't
You
have
said
to
you
do it
would
again.
not do it again?
I don't need to. I mean, I might
Yeah.
one day, but I really truly don't need to.
Bungee jump?
And I would, but I don't know, man. That
Face
I feel like
burger?
there's yeah, that's
That's so sketchy.
I don't know, dude.
Oh, it's like some
I would do
16-year-old kid tying it on there.
you know what I would do though is like if I was ever in a place like cliff diving, like into the water and stuff like that, I would do that.
Yeah, I'd
As long
probably
as I
do that.
saw somebody else go before me.
Yeah, as long as it wasn't like, "You gotta jump over the rock on this
Yeah, I don't
wave,
want to
on
don't
the
make me
3rd
have to like,
wave."
oh, if you don't get far enough, you're gonna hit the rocks.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. Like I just
Yeah,
want to do
no,
a
just a
regular
good
jump,
yeah. You're like, "This is
regular jump.
deep. I'm good," you know? Yeah, no sketch.
Um,
So, yeah.
so speaking of potential bad endings, so I guess this chick that did the national anthem at the
Mhm.
home run derby, I guess she like screwed it up really bad. Did you see the video?
I did see the video.
It was
What was her
bad, wasn't
name?
it?
It
I
was,
forget. Can you pull it up real quick? I know
yeah,
she was like, wasn't she like an American Idol finalist or something? Or
Ingrid Andress.
but
If
she
she
did. I mean,
was,
it was bad, dude. Like
well, do you know she checked herself into rehab, right?
I heard my wife told me that she like announced it the next day or something. But I mean, I think you like just for a second, heart goes out to her. Truly, if she's struggling, listen to our podcast. This is exactly what we're here for. We can hopefully help you. But on a publicity note, I think you have to like whether she's really an alcoholic, whether she's really looking to get help, or really even in rehab. I think from a publicity standpoint, you have to post, you have to put something out there in the airwaves to like excuse the behavior. You know what I mean? To some extent.
100%. You're not doing your job as a publicist if you're not telling
Right.
her to do that. Also, someone told me that, and I couldn't find it. I was looking before the show, but that she had stated that rehab seemed fun. So she probably saw the Google ads with the Florida rehabs with the horses and the acupuncture or something like that. But I thought that was a pretty
locally.
I just thought that was a pretty crappy comment. But she seems like she's probably pretty young, so she probably doesn't really.
She does seem young, and it just, I don't know how, like, the people in your circle, like, how do they not keep you from drinking? I guess if she really is an alcoholic or has a problem, like we used to do, she could have snuck off and drank and whatever. But you got to think that like her agent or whoever's around her that day, those few hours leading up to it, like, hey, you should probably like calm down on those drinks. Let's not have a drink.
No, yeah, but Shawn, honestly, I think it's the opposite though in the industry.
Really?
I think that if they go, oh, I know Shawn's got anxiety, like, and he's gonna get on stage. Just have a few drinks, Shawn. Here's a pill. This will help you out.
One too many.
Yeah, or they were like, don't drink, and she's got airplane bottles stashed in her, whatever, and she's 32, so I don't know. Yeah.
Well, listen, hey, if she is really truly struggling and wants to get help, listen, there's plenty of help out there, and I wish her the best. But
maybe she can make a comeback, but she'll never beat the Roseanne Barr national anthem. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Can I admit that I don't even know what happened with that? I've heard that. What happened?
That is hilarious, dude. The character, like who she is.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know who Roseanne is. Yeah.
I think she's in Chicago at Wrigley Field, and she is shrieking, but she's doing it on purpose, and it's funny. Like, take me, like the whole.
That's kind of funny though.
It was hilarious, dude. She's rocking back, like she's doing it on purpose, and it's funny, man. Like just the way. I would have been pissed because, like, if there's this guy lately at the meeting is like ringing the bell into the microphone, so like I don't like that crap, and that's
it's so obnoxious.
I'm like, come on, dude, you know what I mean? But that's what that voice is.
I'm pretty sure, was it the same guy that when I was there last Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, he did it last Wednesday. Yeah,
did it again, and finally I'm like, come on, man, like with this shit. Like
not to get too off topic for a second, but I played golf with our mutual friend Timmy Mack yesterday, and his brother and his dad, and him and his brother, bro, spitting image. Like you wouldn't even his brother could come speak for him at one of our recovery groups, and most people might not even realize like it's not Timmy.
They're not twins, are they?
No, but they're very, very much alike. They sound exactly the same. But awesome dude. He's a baseball coach at Palm Beach Atlantic University. A super dude. Sweet. His dad's really cool. I had a good time. I hadn't really spent time with Timmy in a while, and we talked about you a lot, and just a lot of for anyone listening that doesn't like, why is this guy shouting out this random? Timmy's a good friend of both of ours. He's awesome, a member of Bill's recovery group, has been for years. He was one of the first people I met in this area when I got sober, and he kind of was about like 11 months sober, more so longer than I was. So he's kind of more sober. So he kind of always was just kind of a mentor of sorts and just kind of guided me along. Still kind of in our age group. He's a little older now. He's pushing 50, but he's still kind of in our age group. And I know he's helped, Bill out too. So shout out to him. But anyway, so Roseanne Barr and all that. And did you actually watch the Derby at all?
I saw the Cliff Notes. I went to bed.
Dude, listen, I love baseball. It was electric. They changed the format a little bit. It was really, really good. They had like in one of the rounds you could only throw 40 pitches and there was a 2-minute timer. Like it was just really good. And then the next round, I forget exactly how the last round went, but they did like the last round, like 20 pitches in 1.5 minutes or something like that. And then they did like a bonus round where you got 3 outs, and obviously anything that's not a home run is an out. Double, doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
Foul ball.
I like that.
But if you hit one, you get 3 outs. But if you hit one 425 feet or more, you get an extra out. And it was really good. Teoscar Escobar from the Dodgers won.
Teoscar Hernandez.
Sorry, Escobar.
Yeah.
Sorry for
Pablo Escobar won.
Sorry to the entire Dodger organization. Mea culpa. Most importantly, and Corey, whenever you're listening to this, your Alec Boehm, your Philly, he lost.
Not
Couldn't
Josh
cut the
Boehm, right?
mustard. Not Josh Boehm. That's a golfer.
Alec Boehm, correct.
Alec Boehm, he lost.
But here's my beef
Uh-huh.
with this is you have Alec Boehm, who is like a lanky,
He's kind of a unit, though, low key. He is lanky, but he's kind of a unit.
Okay,
dude.
but you could have O'Neal Cruz or Ellie De La Cruz, who is
or
like
Bryce Harper,
or like the most exciting. Was Tatis in it?
I don't think he was in it. No, I don't think he was in it.
I mean, there's.
I think they literally do it as like the top 8 who have the most home runs in the league.
Was
but
Vlad Daddy?
He didn't. No, he wasn't in there. But also, like Aaron Judge, obviously is leader, but he opted out. He didn't want to for whatever reason, which I don't really understand that. Yeah, I guess so. He's injury prone, but I think that's the way they do it. So I think because Vlad was there, and actually, here's the cool part: at like halfway through the second round, because you can call a timeout. It's like 3 minutes or whatever. You can call a timeout at like 1:30. Teoscar, they call him Teo, which I kind of like. He called a timeout, and I guess he was trying like the baseball, Buster Olney and Eduardo Perez. They were like breaking it down because I listened to the Baseball Tonight podcast saying that he was like trying to like really pull everything to left field and just crush it. And Vlad Guerrero gave him some advice, only him, to Teo, and said, aim for left center field, which is where the bullpen was, because that's where like the natural like power swing, the line of the bat comes from. And dude, he hit like 6 in a row when the guy came out from it, and it like totally changed it. And that was like a big storyline. But
you know why this pisses me off?
It was good
because I traded him. I traded him off my fantasy baseball team.
Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah,
he's good, man. He's
going nuts.
So he beat Boehm in the semifinals, and then it was Bobby Witt Jr. in the finals.
I love him.
He's
a freak,
dude. He's got so much power, and he's not even like that big or whatever, but.
No, he's like Alec Boehm built, but he's a unit,
So they went. So Teo hit 14 in the last round, including the 3-out bonus round, and then Bobby Witt, he was struggling at first, and then he went on a roll, like hit like 6 out of 8, and he had 13, and he was down to his last out, and it literally missed by like 2 feet of tying it up and going into like That's extra innings. Yeah, it was good. It was a pretty cool thing, and. I like.
Well, if it would have went over, he could have won actually on the next swing, right?
Right, he could have done that, or at the very least, they would have gone into an extra round. Major League Baseball, like compared to the NFL All-Star Game, which the Pro Bowl, and I didn't call it the All-Star Game, and the Skills Challenge, and even the NBA All-Star Game, Major League Baseball takes the cake easily. It's so much more entertaining than those other sports.
100% agree with you. Yeah.
Like NBA and
game
NFL
is terrible.
is
NBA
terrible. It's a joke, and the players know it too.
And the Pro Bowl's bad, real bad. So I'll give it to baseball. I just wish they'd get some more like O'Neal Cruz and those kind of guys. But I get it if it's a leaderboard thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe incentivize it or something to get people like Judge to go.
Here's what they were saying. They were saying that next year they're looking at. They only had 8 participants. The top 8 that have the most home runs are automatically in. And then those 8 get to pick.
There we go. That's perfect.
Pick a teammate. But it can't be, how do they say it? Like it can't be someone from your own team. Or maybe that wasn't it. Maybe there was. But there was like a stipulation to like who you could pick or something like that. But yeah, that would be awesome to have like a team thing. Like that would be sick.
That would be. What would be even funnier is if they got like Barry Bonds to get back on roids and picked him to come back out and stroke a few for him.
I think you have to have like a current player.
Damn rules.
Yeah, right. So, anyways,
but that sounds great though. That would be entertaining.
Yeah. Did you you were telling me about? Do you have any info on the field storming at the Copa America game the other night?
I got some info.
Did you see anything about that?
But yeah, I saw people climbing. So this is a soccer match, a big time soccer match. And Shawn, I know you're passionate about soccer.
Yeah, Argentina, Colombia.
Go Colombia.
Messi. Yeah.
Right. So then, and I guess he got hurt in the game, right? Or
That was a sad part, yeah. But I mean, Argentina still won. Spoiler alert: Argentina won. It went into double overtime, and they finally scored a goal and they won. But Messi got hurt with like at the end, like before the end of regulation, so that was kind of sad. But anyways, they pushed the game back like a full hour because of what you're explaining.
so they stampeded the entrances and complete disarray. It's really disgrace. I mean, they ran over all the barricades. The sad part about this is when I'm watching this is I'm looking at the kids, I'm looking at the women in these crowds, and it seemed like it was like it had to be some sort of like mobilization, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like people came
Right,
together. It was like an idea, you know what I mean?
right.
And it was sad, man, that they
What do
couldn't
they
get
call?
a
What do
hold
they
of it.
call those things when you go to public and everybody starts dancing and stuff?
Yeah, flash dance. I don't
A
know,
flash,
something,
like a flash mob. Yeah,
flash
flash mob. It
mob
was
or
almost.
something.
It
Yeah.
was almost like
Yeah.
that. Like
And they're
somehow they got
climbing through
word
the
got
air
around.
conditioning, HVAC systems
What were
and
they
just
trying to do?
get to seats. And then people who bought seats are
Wow.
outside. They locked like, all right, no one else is coming to the stadium, period. So people are out there $3,000, $5,000 tickets to see their favorite team with their family, their kids, and they can't even get in. And these
That's
clowns
nuts.
have ransacked it. I mean, it looked like some shit like that I just never seen in the
Like a
United States.
post-apocalyptic stuff.
It was a disgrace. I don't
Listen,
know how
soccer
anyone.
fans or football fans, wherever you're from that you call it, they are probably the most outrageous fans. Like the international fans, they're
It's
nuts,
fucking
man. They're
unbelievable. I grew
nuts.
up in Pittsburgh, all right? People pride themselves in being nuts. Did you ever hear like the bread and circuses of Rome? You know, you keep people busy with that shit enough and they act like complete psychopaths. And
Yeah.
I try to back up. I don't know if that's the new Florida in me, but I just like, dude, I'm not running over a grandma and a little 5-year-old for a fucking Steeler game, like no matter what.
Bill, I don't think Florida has anything. I think that just you're getting older and more mature, and you have a family and you're sober. I think that's what that is. Like
Okay, it
it's
could
just
be all
not
those
as it's
factors
just
too.
yeah, it's just not as important anymore. Because I get
But
it. I understand what you're
growing up
saying.
in Pittsburgh, it's a culture. It really is like it's like the type of town where shit shut down on Sundays when the game's
Right,
on, you know?
right.
So, it's a drinking city with a sports problem is what they say.
Yeah. Like our little undisclosed location where we live. What do they say? Uh,
Probably
uh,
fishing.
a drinking village with a fishing problem or something like that.
Yeah. So
Something like
yeah, I
that.
don't know, man. I don't
That's
like to
nuts,
see
though.
that. I hope it doesn't become a pattern. Is basically my thing, and I
Yeah.
don't think Miami would take that for long. That kind of behavior.
No, they'll put some stuff in place,
I
and
mean, they're grabbing a kid over okay, there's a mom. The security guard, thank God for the cop, like, because he's thinking, he grabs the kid to try to say, pulls him over the railing, sets him down, okay? They knock over the railing and they just run. And this kid is like, like scarred for life, dude. I mean, like,
yeah, really.
and then there's women in there. So when the railing gets knocked down, people fall over. This is how people die at like these kind of
Yeah,
events.
no, yeah, that's absolutely, and that's the saddest part is like something like that could have happened and will happen if they continue that, and then everyone's just going to be like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah.
what the, you know, so.
I know. And Colombia doesn't win the game, so it's a double
No, exactly.
rough
Exactly.
for me. It
It
was
was a
rough.
great game. I watched the entire second half and double overtime. It was a great game. Hey, speaking of which, I know you and I talked about this beforehand. Let's take a moment though, real quick, and we are not a political podcast in any way, shape, or form. We all have our beliefs and what we're passionate about, but we're doing our best not to bring those on this podcast. But I do know that we want to just say condolences and thoughts and prayers out to the family of the man who actually died at the Trump rally where there was a shooting, especially to the man that died and his family. Apparently, he was a firefighter and just like an all around like really good dude from all the reports, and then obviously
Mhm.
the two people that got critically injured. We're really glad that Trump didn't die or any politician or Secret Service. So we don't want anyone, but like the real tragedy is that an innocent person lost their life. So
But
thoughts and prayers, T's and P's, baby, T's and P's.
100%. And we're committed. We kind of committed to not get political on this. This is supposed to be your guys' reprieve from
Right,
all that
right.
crap. You know what I mean? I know for me it's hard, to get away from that. But I honestly am like, pace yourself. You know what I mean? Because the tone and the rhetoric and the temperature are going to continue to go up. until November at the minimum. And then so another thing is, yeah, don't shoot each other. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. This happened right outside of Pittsburgh, and don't shoot each other. And it's the same thing as sports, man. Like no one really cares about you that much to go do something like that,
Right.
and or to fight somebody or foam at the mouth. You know what I mean? Like live your best life. Like yes, it is important to stand up for what you believe in a certain light. Obviously, vote for what you believe for you and your
Right.
family,
Exactly.
and do those things. But like foaming at the mouth in public and
Yeah.
all that, like
Yeah.
arguing on Facebook, you're never gonna change anyone's mind.
Right.
Like
Right.
chill
It
out.
doesn't
You know?
accomplish anything. It doesn't
Yeah.
accomplish anything. It only hurts people. And if you really
And
want to
nothing but
change
love
things,
for everybody, like even the shooter's family. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like it
that's
is
what
what it
dude.
is.
No,
You
that's what I
know,
was thinking too. Even the shooter himself, like he
it's
obviously
embarrassing his family,
is
and yeah,
is
it's like
either there's some mental health problems, or he's just
right,
been completely brainwashed or super misguided, or
taken
a
advantage
combination of
of.
all those things, right? And as much as like he deserves to be tried, and the natural course of justice, whatever that may be, uh, living in his own head is probably one of the worst places. You know what I mean? Like that's his own
100%.
prison. And to your point, the family, the parents, whether
Hell
they knew
yeah.
he had issues or didn't know or not. I mean, I think as a parent, like you might know your kid has issues, but you never think your kid's going to do something like that.
Oh yeah, my kid's gonna climb
So
up on. It's like you just never
yeah,
gonna think something like that. So
so
it's sad. It's sad that um
crazy
people
stuff.
that care so little can change people into that. You
And
know what I
and
mean?
hurt.
That's
Yeah, they care so little and they hurt so, like, they can cause such a big impact. So um well, that's a good segue then, because like just kind of our recovery kind of better living segment, it's really is going to be more better living and practical living tonight. We're going to talk about some life skills, balance in life, nutrition, maybe some nutrition exercises, physical health, you know a little mental health, like how we kind of do that. And um again, it's just the two of us, so I'm going to start it off and just kind of talk about a couple things. I had a couple talking points, and then Bill, you can take it away, and we'll pretty much we'll eventually kind of wrap from that. So this can be kind of a broad topic, right? I think that the easiest answer, or the easiest thing to point out, is the fact that we are sober today has offered us the opportunity to really truly like get our lives together and learn these basic life skills, right? um, I remember a time in my early sobriety where the my mentor pretty much ordered me. I was doing so much recovery stuff, going to so many different recovery meetings and service, and like that was everything my life consumed about. I was also taking some college classes, and I was working. I don't know if I was working full time yet, although I think I might have been. And but I was doing everything I was doing was recovery related. Excuse me. Pardon me. So he practically ordered me to like go do something with non-recovery people. And I started playing racquetball with people from work. And these are people that most of them, were not alcoholics or anything, normal people, but they were young and they partied a little bit. So they were out late and they were playing 3, 4 times a week. And I run to extremes, right? I'm an alcoholic. I run to extremes. I started playing racquetball with them 3, 4 times a week. And we were out till like 1, 2 in the morning at like Stewart Middle School, because they had lights that were on the time. I mean, crazy amounts of time, because we all worked in the restaurant industry, so we didn't get out of work till like 10, and we'd go there. I'm getting up for a 7:15 a.m. meeting every day, going to college, you know what I mean? And I remember this one day I was in class and I had a headache so bad that I legitimately thought like I could have keeled over. Like just never felt that way in my life. It was so bad. I left class, I went home, and I just went passed out. I woke up like I had to work later that day, and I woke up like 4 hours later, and my headache was gone, and it felt like nothing had ever happened. I felt perfectly fine. And I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, and I was probably, I want to say I was a year, 18 months sober, give or take. I could be wrong on that. But I remember sitting on the edge of my bed thinking, okay, God, I hear you loud and clear. There has to be balance in my life. So I say that story just to segue into some of the things I do today to have that balance, right? To have that physical health, the mental health, still have fun, right? So I play golf. That's my thing. We're talking about fishing and stuff earlier. I'd rather play golf. That's my away from family, away from recovery. Even though I play with people in recovery, play with my dad a lot. That's my like away from all that stuff. Extracurricular activity. I play pickleball on Thursday nights with a bunch of the guys. Not tonight because my wife's out of town, but um, that's also something I do for fun. I have in my life today probably 2 to 3 meetings a week, right? Recovery meetings a week, two a minimum usually. My home group that I go to every week, no matter what. A couple other meetings here and there. I have guys that I work with in the recovery program and try to help guide them through the work of recovery. I meet with a few of them 2 3 times a week, sometimes on the weekends, one's on a Tuesday night, but it's all balanced. I've definitely been the guy that has had like 4 or 5 meetings that I was like a home group member of and was always at. And I come to learn later on in life that that is not really the way things should be done, no matter what. Um, all kinds of positions I had. I was helping so many guys at one point. It was like, how am I going to balance it all? And you learn kind of through trial and error, especially now, like you and me, Bill. We have families, right? We have professional lives. I have a master's degree. I was going to school for a good many years part time, so I had to incorporate all that into it. So a lot of it's trial and error, but knowing when enough is enough on the recovery front, and I got to be with the kids, or I got to go do this with the kids. Or I want, there has to be that balance. We've often say like, how's your program working at the breakfast table? If it's not working at the breakfast table, meaning if your family is not enjoying the fruits of your sobriety, right? The full benefit of you being a sober individual, then maybe it's not really working that well, and maybe I should tweak some things to begin with. So I'm going to stop there for now. I want to kick it over to Bill, and maybe we can kind of go, back and forth a little bit. But I want to. That's a good starting piece for me. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I agree all to that as well, and extended family too. Loved ones, all that. For me, I like Shawn. I whenever I got started to recover, I was doing. I would have like at least six guys I was working with at a time. I had have a minimum of 3 home groups. I mean, it was, and I honestly, I needed it for the first, and I did that for literally a brick of like 2 or 3 year period of heavy, and I needed it though. I needed it to get to like
Right,
where I
because
need
there
like
is
a
a point. Yes,
full
there is a point
reset.
where that's necessary. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
completely.
like, and I knew I needed it. You know what I mean? So, it was great because it really did like I a
I
lot.
knew you did too. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah, it was evident. I just saw our buddy Kevin from from the morning the other day, and we were joking about that too because he saw me whenever I first got there, and I definitely was not the man I am today. I was a fragment of myself, and that was very obvious. But as I continued to do this stuff, I took my time. Shawn told me like, enjoy and stay into the recovery halfway house as much as that sucked, and like I stayed there longer than I needed to, for sure. I knew I stayed there longer, and then when the time was right, I moved on. And one other thing Shawn always told me was like, with if the right when the right situation presents itself, it'll be a smooth process. It's not going to be, the question mark, or the really rocky road. I got to move all these mountains around to make this work. Like, usually you're in the wrong situation if that's the case. I find that true today when I bought my house. Whenever I, all these other pursuit of court, pursuit of job, you know what I mean? All these things, like whenever I just kind of calmed down and took it in, the right answer always clearly presented itself. So I didn't ever cause my roommate to get kicked out of the house like you, Shawn, but I
I saw him last Saturday.
he's
Sorry to
still
interrupt
running
you. Hold
the
on.
farm.
Hold on. We were standing at, that's so funny you just said that. We were standing outside of one of our recovery halls where we have meetings, and this girl gets picked up who obviously wasn't driving. She was waiting on an Uber, And I look in the car, and it's him. He's driving
He's the
Uber.
Uber driver.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it
hell.
was me and our couple other people standing with me that know him well, as they know him very well also.
Hilarious.
So we all were like, "Hey," I won't even say his name, but "Hey, so what's up, hey?" And he like at first he was like, "Guys, I'm working here, I'm working," and then and then she kind of laughed in the back. She's like, "No, it's okay." Obviously, she was getting picked up from the meeting hall, so she kind of got it, but it was just really funny. He's got long
How many
ponytail
cats were
white
in the
hair.
vehicle?
I didn't see
Um,
any cats.
all right,
Sorry,
they're
go
probably in the
ahead.
trunk. All right, so regardless, I did a lot of it. You know what I mean? I'm glad I did. I don't go, hey, I really regret that. But so as time went on, I like for me, like I couldn't meditate. You know, I learned to meditate by literally going to I looked up the Buddhist temple in West Palm Beach. I went to the free trial meditation meeting there like 3 or 4 times. They're like, this guy keeps coming here on the free trial day. And I learned how to meditate like really well. You know what I mean? Like to the level of not
Mhm.
like a freaking monk,
Yeah.
but like
Well, you've taught me some stuff too over the years from the stuff you've learned. So
yeah, like I took it serious, you know. So but I remember like getting to that point of doing that and then leaving the halfway and being like, dude, the world is so vast. Like I had not opened my eyes to it. Like, what do you like? You know, like what do I like? I took a long period of time, man. I stopped listening to rap music just
yeah,
to be like, I'm just gonna listen, and I'm so glad I did, you know, going to different venues of religion, you know what I mean? Just to go, you know what I mean? And making a rule of like not saying no to these kind of things, really just kind of opening my mind, broadening my horizons to those things. Morning meditation sessions, the one thing that sticks with me, you know what I mean? Morning meditation and prayer. You know, first thing
yeah,
I do when I wake up, I'm freaking grateful, man.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, God, for this grace. Thank you for this opportunity. Let me wake up today. Thank you for yesterday, but today, like, thank you. Like now I'm in action, right? Then I go into like my breath work, my meditation, and I do that stuff, and it just completely starts my day. Like when you wake up, you're at your highest, like most elevated
Yeah.
ability to think clearly and to like get into that channel with your higher power, you know. And so for me, like the Wim Hof, I love it. I do the Tony
Mhm.
Robbins one sometimes
Breathing
too, but
stuff.
yeah, but the Wim Hof thing is powerful. I've talked about it on here
Screaming at the top of our lungs at 5:30
me and
a.m.
Shawn out
in
on a
Fort
lake.
Salerno.
I mean, and I was like going through crap at that time, but I was like calm. You know, it was like calamity is matched with serenity, and that's like one of my favorite things.
Amen.
I work out 3 times a week usually. I try to do more, but like three work. So on those days, I'll do a 5 a.m. same thing, workout. I rotate the muscle groups, and then one piece of advice with that thing: eating healthy. I'm good at that for 3/4 of the day.
Just don't listen to the Reese peanut butter pie episode some months
I
back,
was
but
just
yeah,
gonna say completely went off the rails after our
I'm
sweets
guilty of it too.
episode.
Though I'll get into that too when you're done. I'm the same way.
I'm off the rails right now. I'm bad. I've eaten ice cream every day since that episode and a Reese's peanut butter cup or two. But honestly, eating healthy and finding the right diet for you. Everybody's body is different. There was a point in my time after I got COVID that I had what I believe to be long haul COVID. I was compromised, like my immune system was messed up. It was in shock. So I was in the hospital. I figured these things out. I was seeing a rheumatologist. I was obviously thinking the worst. And what I had to do was change my diet. At that time, I went on like a keto diet, and it sucked, for sure at
Yeah,
first. And then I began to like it, and then I began to eat like keto junk food all the time, and I was like, all right, time to like
which
go
that's
back to
not good for you either, I'm sure.
right. My point is the evolution though. So then I went back onto like something more like mainstream, so now you know what I mean. Now I do that,
Yep.
and then I just slam Reese's peanut butter cups all night.
I love Reese's
um
too. I love
yeah,
Reese's.
so like those are like the top of my. I know we're gonna go a little back and forth, so I'll save a couple of mine and you can dive in on that, maybe, whatever. But those three, the meditation, working out, and eating healthy, I mean,
Yeah,
revolution of your
yeah.
life if you can do those things.
I think the more we started doing this topic, I realized how broad it is and how much like different avenues we could go down that we'll definitely not cover tonight. But I love that you brought up the working out and the nutrition and stuff. And obviously, Corey and Greg would probably even be more suited to talk about the working out piece of that. because they're on regimented and they're really doing it, a lot more than me. I get to the gym a couple days a week. Sometimes I won't even get there for a week or two. I can't stand the gym, but I always feel a little bit better when I leave. Um, I am such a golf enthusiast and junkie that I am very careful of like weights and lifting so that I'm not sore on the
You
golf
do the
course
easy
like the
ones.
next day. I
You're
do
in
I
there all
do
day with the
very
dumbbell.
I do light weights and a lot of like quick fast reps, just to keep the flexibility going. I gotta
It's
fully turn,
all
but
in the hips.
it's
It's
all in the
all
hips.
in the hips. All right.
But I do feel better when I go, and I know it's good for me, and I'm paying for the damn thing, so I might as well use it. Um, but I also, like I said, I play pickleball every Thursday night, which is a great workout. I used to play pickup
Mhm.
basketball for like over a year, which was even better workout. Which
Dude, pickleball, I
hand up,
tried
I
my
would go back
hand.
to basketball. You
Oh,
did?
what's that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What did you
No,
say?
no, you tried pickleball?
I tried pickleball and I almost broke my ankle. I mean,
Oh, shit.
I'm getting old.
You're low to the
Yeah.
ground, you're moving. It's probably not good for your back, but
Yeah.
um,
No.
so I do pickleball. I also play a lot of golf, and yes, a lot of golf is in riding in a cart, but there are ways that you can exercise. You can get out, park, and walk. But I also, when I have the time, I love walking around a golf as it was meant to be. You get in my bag. I have a little push cart, and just walk 18 holes or 9 holes or whatever, and
People who
you
say that about golf,
get a
golf's
great
not
workout.
hurting your health though. You know what I mean? Like, and
No,
that's,
for sure, for
this
sure.
is a good workout, It's like,
Yeah, it's not hurting it, but if you can walk a good summer day, and especially if a hilly course. So I get plenty of exercise. I feel like I'm sure I could do more, right? I'm sure I could shed 10 pounds and tighten up the midsection a little bit. My philosophy is, I eat whatever I want. I go to the gym 3 times a week, work out whatever 3 times a week, whether it's pickleball or the gym, and I pretty much eat whatever I want. I just stay right where I'm at. But the truth is, I could clean up my diet big time. I was raised eating vegetables and eating good foods, and my parents are both health nuts. I still eat for the most part pretty well in terms of like my actual meals. Like I have protein in the morning. I like eggs. I have a salad. I usually do like a raw spinach salad with like my mom's, shout out to Suzanne, her homemade famous lemon dressing. Right, it's lemon
I'm still
juice,
thinking about that
olive
cheesesteak.
oil, a little salt, and onion powder. Um, I do that almost every night. I have a raw spinach salad almost every night, or broccoli or something. But then, like last night, after I'm watching TV for a little bit, I got a freaking cinnamon bun from Panera that my
You're
wife
like, the
left.
wife's out of town.
Yeah, I got a little. I heated it up. I got a glass of milk, and there's
Ooh.
some coffee ice cream in the freezer too, and I'm eating that. And I have a slight dairy allergy, like not bad enough to make me stop eating dairy, but enough to where if I have a good amount of it, especially at night, I'm still feeling it today. Like I'm phlegmy, I'm congested a little bit, but I love it. I can't
Are you
stop.
like
So
the kids that like are allergic to peanut butter and they're like, I just
I
eat
don't
it till
think
I swell
I
up and then I
I think
stop.
I'm slightly lactose, like a slightly
Yeah.
like I actually have the lactose free milk, the Fairlife, which is really good because Grace, my youngest, gets really stopped up too. But I eat some ice cream, and stuff late at night, and it's like game over for me. I'm like sleeping like like I'm all phlegmy and stuff. But
The open mouth.
so I'll eat really good. Like I'll eat very good food. I love fish. I love all that stuff, proteins. But then like you said, I'll slam the Reese cups down or whatever it is. So I try not to even buy desserts because I know I'll eat them, and I just if I don't buy them, but there's always eventually they
The
end up in the
convenience
house
store is always
somehow.
open. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Um, I want to shout out too, and we can kind of wrap with this. I want to go, and then I'll kick it to you to finish off. But like vitamins and supplements. And now again,
Yep.
this is a topic that we could easily go a long time on. But my quick is I take a men's plant-based multi, right? Like a food-based multivitamin. I take vitamin D. I take vitamin C with rose hips, and I take
All in
fish
the
oil,
hips.
like EPA, DHA fish oil every day. Those are my four main ones. Usually, I have some quercetin around or some turmeric, which is
Mm.
good for your immune system. I also have the emergency packets with the Immune Plus. People say you can only take them when you're sick. That's not true. I take one almost every day. It's got zinc. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it that just builds the immune system. The little powder drink. I take one
Don't
of
they have
those in my
sugar
vitamins
in them
every day.
though?
Not the they might have a little sugar, but it's not
Yeah.
like anything outrageous, especially early in the morning. Your body burns it off, but I take one of those almost every day. And then when I get a little sick, now I am not opposed. Sorry, Dad, but I am not opposed to going and getting some over-the-counter generic Mucinex or medicine,
He won't
whatever.
hear
But
this.
yeah, I know he doesn't listen. Um, but I have from him. He's a health nut. He's brilliant. I trust him more than most doctors. You know him well. When I'm getting a little sick or I got a little scratch in my throat or a little congestion, whatever it is, little cold symptoms, grapefruit seed extract,
Mm-hmm.
olive leaf extract, and
Mm-hmm.
oil of oregano, like oregano oil.
Yep.
Those three things, and I have elderberry gummies as well. But those three things. Now I forget exactly which one is which, but those three things I just mentioned, um, they're anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antiviral. I forget which one is
Oregano
actually which.
oil is antibacterial for
Okay,
sure.
makes sense. And I think grapefruit seed extract is um, antiviral, and then the other one is the anti-inflammatory. So those combination of things, if I feel any kind of sickness, I'll take one in the morning, one at night. They're all in liquid form. Doesn't taste the greatest, but it gets the job done. And that's my basic like
Yeah.
health supplement routine. What about you?
Real quick, I'll just say that back on I missed the part where whenever I did go on that keto diet, I was sick, right? But I got better, like right away. And what I did implement, what I'll get into is the fasting, 16-hour window of fasting followed by 8 hours. Tom actually, shout out Tom, taught me how to fast, and it was more for spiritual dedication than anything, and it was a precursor to this, but it made it easier. But 16-hour fast, 8-hour feeding window, and I still try to do that at least 2 days a week, like I did it today.
I should try that.
Oh dude, you think so clear, like it's crazy. Just black coffee, water, don't eat till like after lunchish, around then, you know what I mean? Dude, you'll get so much work done in the morning, it's unbelievable. So that changed my life. I love it. I absolutely love doing it. So but on to what Shawn was talking about, because I'm a supplement, and I love supplements. Never knew anything about them till I
It's
got
kind of
recovered.
fun, you know what I mean? Like it's
Oh,
kind of
I'm
cool, like
into
getting
it.
into it and learning
And I'm
about them.
into like helping people I know, like, hey, take this, da da da, I'm completely into it. Shawn mentioned turmeric. Turmeric is a big one. I'm a guy that had a back surgery, you know what I mean? So it's an anti-inflammatory. Different supplements, different people, you know what I mean? Like I go with what works for me. Vitamin D I take in high dose. I'm talking like 5,000
Yes,
IU's a
same.
day, which
Dude,
is against.
I'm at 10,000.
Honestly, it's 10, but I didn't want to throw that out
Mhm.
there to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's higher than what your doctor would say to do.
And
You make
side note, they say so
K2.
the vitamin D is actually for all our listeners, vitamin D is better for it builds up your immune system more than
Yep.
just taking vitamin C. Take them both, but vitamin D is actually builds it up more.
Okay, so I actually reserve vitamin C mainly. I take it as I get it, but I take the supplement when I don't feel good. And when I begin it, I load with vitamin C and D, but D I take daily.
Same.
One thing about vitamin D is though you got to take it with a K2 because it carries calcium through your bloodstream. And if you don't take the K2 kind of drives the vessels through the blood. The
Right.
calcium can plaque up and you don't want that. So that's one thing I just want to tell everybody about vitamin D. But if vitamin D game change, I was getting sick at anything, dude. I mean, you could sneeze across the country and I'd get sick. You know what I mean? And now I've got all this stuff under control. Fish oil, great for cognitive function, great for inflammation. Always take like I do like a cod liver oil. You can get it at Sprouts
Yep.
and keep it cold if possible once opened to preserve it because it can spoil. But you take a cod liver oil or something like that. It's a little expensive, but fantastic for your cognitive and that. I
give my
personally
kids
take.
cod liver oil. The kids
It's
take
good
it every
stuff.
morning. Liquid.
Yeah.
Yep. Bubblegum flavor.
Oh, nice. My daughter would probably take that. I got to look into that one. I got to get that
Dude, I
up.
put it right in their milk. I put liquid vitamin D, powdered vitamin C, and cod liver oil right in their milk every morning. They know that it's in there, but they can't taste it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's awesome. Probably makes the food taste better to them. And then for me personally, like I do essential amino acids.
Nice.
I just take one that's a complex of different, things. I do lion's mane for like a nootropic sometimes. It's more of a to help you think type of deal. Sometimes I'll take that before work. Magnesium is a miracle. Like you can take magnesium for sleep. You can take it for digestive issues. There's different kinds, do your research. Like there's a carbonate, there's a, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but I have one like maybe for sleep time. I don't take it all the time, but it's a good thing. It's something a lot of people are on in their daily, nutrition profile. So I notice when I take that one, like too, like I feel a lot better. There's spirulina or like chlorophyll or something with like those kind of like green vitamins that you're gonna get. I personally don't eat a lot of greens, so maybe that's why I get so much out of it when I take it. But I feel like better when I take it.
Yeah.
Those are the main ones. Now I take a lot of, like I'll try different things and stuff like that, but those ones are like my staple go-tos that have always been good and can really help anyone.
Yeah.
The garlic, too,
Garlic is
ginger,
good. Yeah.
oregano oil, Shawn mentioned, and there's one called sweet dogwood that is really good for. Oh, and another thing is deworming, like to sometimes you get parasite backup, thing like that. Like the dogwood is good for that to go along with the bacterial that you mentioned and the viral. You know what I mean? So there's ones for all, like
There really is, yeah. And there's different things that will do the same thing, or a
Yeah.
combination of the same things. It's not just like, oh, you can only take this one for this. No, there's all kinds of stuff out there. And to your point, like my body might react more beneficially to this product that does an antiviral. Yours might react better to this one that does the same thing. So
That's just genetics and how you
right,
methylate,
you
meaning
gotta
like how you break it down in
right.
your system.
Yep. Your body type, your just anything.
Like your ancestry, like you
One
might
more
have
thing,
been. Yeah.
I'll shout out saw palmetto. It's
Yes.
it's good for the male prostate.
Hair.
It's also good for the male sex drive, but also for your hair. Yes, it's supposed to block the chemical or whatever it is that causes you to lose hair. So that's
Also
a
was very
shout out.
popular by the Indians tribes in this area. So
Really?
like I've been
Well,
hiking a
yeah,
lot,
because
which
they're
is
like they're like berries, saw palmetto berries. They like grew in
yeah.
nature, I think.
So
Yeah,
I've been hiking a lot as part of my habits that help form things, right? And I'm looking and I'm reading these things
nice.
and it's all palmetto everywhere. And I'm like, this
Yeah,
is the
nice.
supplement. So the Indians took that for everything. I mean, it
Yep.
was for a lot of different things. So
And they made a
pretty
lot
cool.
of babies, those Indians. So
They did. And cool names. That's
and
probably
cool
how they
names.
got the
So
cool names.
and I think on that note, that's probably a good cut off point. I truly like I could nerd out on the vitamins and the
Oh,
supplements. My dad is such a
that's my
wealth of
light
knowledge.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My mom is too. Honestly, my mom is too. And that's a whole nother story, just how much they've always been into. My grandmother on my mom's side back in the 50s was into this stuff. But um I'm grateful. That's one of the things. I'm grateful for a lot of things about my family, but that's one of the main things is that they really taught me about nutrition and stuff like that. So
I 100% believe that stuff was nerfed by big pharma in one form or another. You know what I mean? Like that those
what
things
is
were kind of
Bill, what does nerf mean? I don't know what nerf means.
nerf. All
You
right,
said
so
it
maybe a
earlier.
lot of people don't, but nerf to
Like
me is
this.
like if something is too powerful to turn it down.
Okay,
Or
they
to, like,
soften it
if
up a
it's
little.
too
Okay,
good, like
okay.
no, you got to pull it back. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I don't know if that may be just a Pittsburgh saying or something,
Maybe,
but
but no, that makes sense. And
whatever. But yeah,
I tend to agree about big pharma there. So,
yeah.
um, before we get caught down that rabbit hole, I think we should any parting thoughts before I wrap up?
Yeah, I got my DeLuca's Diner full outfit on. I might go apply for a job when I'm going to Pittsburgh next month. I'm full
Yeah,
regalia.
local Jimmy John's is hiring. They're needing
No,
good
no, we've
people.
graduated. Shout out to DeLuca's Diner, Strip District.
Very good. Well, I got to say one thing real quick. When this episode comes out on YouTube, for anyone watching this, there's going to be a point about 3/4 of the way through that I turned off my video, and you're going to randomly see a picture of our producer Janine Stella. I know that might sound awkward because it's me on the video, but I'm on her Zoom account right now because she's not even here. We're just auto recording this on her Zoom account. So obviously her profile picture is of her. So when I turned my picture off, it was a picture of her. I just thought that's gonna be kind of funny um, when people see it. But with that, shout out to the listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send your mailbag requests for topics, questions, comments to any of these handles. Remember, we are all here. If anyone wants to talk, especially the national anthem chick, you want to talk about recovery, our experiences, or if you're struggling with some form of addiction, thank you again to Janine and Stella Mix Podcast Management. She is wonderful. Corey and Greg, we miss you. We had fun tonight, me and Bill, but we miss you, and we look forward to having the four of us back next week. Good night. God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny.